What's going on, good people? This is the Common Man, Nate Lewis, and you are listening to a brand new edition of The Common Take. I'm your host, Nate Lewis, and today I have with me, returning finally, it's been a long time since we had you here. Lewis, what's going on?
I'm back,
That's right.
mister.
How's everything going with you?
I'm okay. I didn't have internet for a few days. I don't know what's going on.
Dude. Anyway, yeah, so wait. We got to start with the Unstoppable Press Tour. There's been so much going on. This has been a big weekend. You just told me you saw snippets of the presser. What did you see from the press conference?
I heard the Jones and Cormier back and forth.
Oh man. Yeah. So did you hear the boo birds that Cormier got during the presser?
I didn't. I heard he got booed though.
Yeah. So man, I kind of even don't know how to describe it. It's almost John Cena-esque. Cormier is completely in the right. Well, the questions basically were, Daniel, how do you feel about Jon Jones and his returning to the octagon? And, Daniel basically said, look, John's trying to make a change. That's great. Come April, I'm ready to fight. And John was getting asked these questions. And if you know Jon Jones from the past, you basically got the PR Jon Jones here, and I'm sober now. I've been sober 5 months. I'm ready to come back. Blah blah. Just the real, like, kind of fake Jon Jones we saw before. And DC just out of the blue says, "Did you not call me the biggest and lamest pussy you've ever met backstage?" Into which, for a while, John was just kind of like, "Huh, I can't hear you. The boos are getting over you." And eventually, John got to the point where he's like, "Yeah, I called you a pussy." And so
He's so fake.
he's so fake, Jon Jones.
Fucking Tommy Toll.
Yeah, love Tommy. Shout out to Tommy Toho, by the way.
Hell
But
yeah.
it was weird. The crowd, like, when Jon Jones came out, he comes out with his the title
Replica?
belt. Yeah, he comes out
Was
with a
it-
title belt.
Is it his real belt?
I think it might have been his real belt. But he comes out with that. He's getting cheered, which, and Cormier kind of alluded to it during one of his answers when he said absence makes the heart grow fonder. So yeah, it's been a while since we've seen Jon Jones, actively doing something within the UFC. So him getting cheered initially didn't shock me, but then DC coming out gets absolutely booed, and probably booed more than anyone else at this press conference, which really shocked me. And there are people talking now saying that Jones is in DC's head. Honestly, it did seem like the boos threw off DC quite a bit, but yo, I'm ready for this fight. Let's do it.
It was very random because DC's not he's not a bad guy.
No, he's not a bad guy at all, and he's on television and he does a great job, and he's entertaining when he does the pre stuff for Fox Sports and all that. He's by all accounts a really likable person. So I really didn't understand the boos here.
You think all the weight training is gonna make a difference in that fight?
They actually, yeah. Cormier was asked that question if if he had seen Jones' new weight powerlifting routines, and if that'll have an effect. And DC has something to the effect, or said something to the effect of, "Yeah, but I'm just not out here. I'm doing things too. I'm just not posting it on Instagram." I really wish he'd have threw out the posting on Instagram and then deleting it right after. I really wish he'd have got that in there. He didn't.
It's such a trademark with Jon Jones.
Now, so you saw that, but something else that kind of stood out to me at that press conference was Uriah Faber and Dominic Cruz had a couple of back and forths. This is setting up for the third fight. Have you seen their previous two fights?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, we're going in, and I believe Cruz gets asked a question first about being involved in this third fight. And DC is, or sorry, not DC. I'm getting confused here. Cruz comes out and says, "Hey, I'm the best fighter. There's absolutely nothing Uriah can show me that'll be anything different." And Uriah starts firing back, and they are going back and forth. Uriah's calling him skinny fat and saying he has back fat in his last fight, and that the USADA basically banned puberty since TJ Dillashaw looked like a skinny man. I don't know where this came from Uriah,
Heel turn.
but it was funny. And Dominic Cruz is the type that, I mean, you can't really get into war words with Dominic Cruz. He'll fire back.
Wasn't it Tommy Tuchel who said Cruz asked threats or something? What did he say?
Yeah, very Cruz-esque threats. And it quickly turned into, so Uriah, how you going to beat me?
Yeah, he says Cruz asked how they to explain their threats.
Yeah, exactly. It was nothing, but it was really interesting, and basically towards the end, I mean, Uriah, you can tell, is trying not to swear during his threats to Dominic, and basically at the end says, "I'm gonna whoop your ass," to which kind of threw Cruz off a little bit and says, "Wow, we finally got you to curse."
Does he not cuss?
Normally he really doesn't, not in front of pressers and things like that, but. I mean, he would say, "I'm gonna whoop your butt. I'm gonna beat you down." He said that the whole time, and then at the end, he finally, "I'm gonna whoop your ass." So that was interesting. Something that was a little bit awkward about the presser is Claudia Gadelha and Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Now, I should probably break down. Let me pull off who was at this presser, because we had so many people at this presser. I don't want to take too much time looking into it, but we had obviously DC and Jon Jones. You had Dominic Cruz and Uriah Faber. You had Chris Weidman, Luke Rockhold, Claudia and Joanna. Tony Ferguson and Khabib were there. Overeem, Arlovsky, and I know I almost forgot. Yeah, Mighty Mouse was there, who said absolutely nothing the whole press conference. Henry Cejudo was there.
Oh.
I know, right? So that's them. So we get to...
Rothwell was there with Dos Santos.
Okay, so then they also didn't say anything either. So we had three people legitimately not say a word. Henry Cejudo actually got asked a question, so at least he got to be on television for that portion. But we get the kind of a first look at Tough 23, which is coached by Joanna and Claudia. And they get asked a question, and everybody's heard Joanna speak at this point, kind of very soft-spoken, but I mean, she's a beast, and she holds nothing back. So they get asked, what they expect in the upcoming fight. Joanna then says, we're really good friends. Everything's great, and Claudia kind of is shooting her like a death stare. So when you get a chance, go look at this death stare that Claudia shoots at Joanna. And Claudia picks up the mic. "Oh, yeah, we're friends. Yeah, you'll see." And it was like this really awkward tension between the two. And then finally, they go at it. And Joanna says, "Hey, I could have beat you up on the show. I didn't." Claudia says, "I got in your ass," basically. It was this really weird and awkward exchange between two women whose English is their second language. It is amazing to watch, and it's also cringeworthy. So I'm giving you a heads up on that one.
Didn't it just come out that they like in the last few hours that they fought fist fight on the show, like a fist fight?
Yeah, I kind of read about that too. I'm trying to think who said it.
Is it Dana?
No, I'm trying to think during the presser who said something. Joanna said, "I could have hit you on the show," and Claudia kind of off the mic says, "Remember when I kicked you?" Like, it wasn't all that audible. I had to go back and listen to it for a few times. But apparently, yeah, there was some altercation between these two. They need to play this up. And they need to play this up badly. But it was just, you just have to watch this portion of the presser. I thought it was phenomenal. Let's see. Like I said, Mighty Mouse said absolutely nothing. Was never asked a question. He kind of gave like a snarky look when Cejudo was answering his question. Let's see what else happened here.
Overeem got no love.
Overeem did get asked a question. They asked Overeem and Arlovsky if there was any tension when now fighting each other since they train in the same camp. And
yeah, that's a weird fight.
But the guys explained it pretty well. Overeem's like, yeah, we train in the same facility. We only sparred 2-3 times. It will not be awkward.
Sure, my fortunate for them.
Yeah, he is happy that the fight would be in Holland, and that was it. And Arlovsky gets on the mic, says, "Yeah, we're not really friends. We've trained or we sparred 2 or 3 times, and that's it." So I thought the main draw of this would be that, you know, you got two guys within the same gym who, you know, spar, see each other every day, and they're going at it. But apparently that's not the case. These two don't like each other, and we're probably going to see some fist flying, and whoever probably gets hit first is going down.
Yeah, so those chins, pretty.
They're basically going to give the belt out for glass chin of the year here.
I was trying not to be that harsh.
I'll be that harsh. Look, I have a lot of love for Arlovsky. I said that on my other show. Arlovsky's one of those guys that was around in the tough era, and that's when I started watching UFC. So I got a lot of love for Arlovsky, and I'm pulling for him to win here. I don't see him winning, but I'll be a little harsh. Don't bother me. Let's see, anything else interesting? Weidman and Rockhold. This was kind of interesting. The way they were sitting, obviously Dana's in the middle. They have two sets of rows of tables. So to Dana's left was Jon Jones, Henry Cejudo, and then Chris Weidman. And on the other side, it was matched up the other way. So you had Jones, DJ, and then Luke Rockhold. And somewhere in this press conference, we got a tease for a WrestleMania tag team match with Jon Jones and Chris Weidman versus Luke Rockhold and DC. Basically, you know, Chris, you've heard what Chris has said at post his fight. He had his foot amputated. He had pneumonia. He was doing rounds of chemotherapy. He was all types of banged up. So we kind of hear some of this during the presser. Rockhold basically says, "You're full of excuses. I'm going to beat you down worse this time." And like I said, somewhere in here, Weidman loses it and then goes, "You're in the club too much. I'm going to beat your ass, take your belt back, just like my boy Jon Jones." And they high five during this presser. And at that point, DC says, "We can set up a tag team match." It was weirdly funny without being overly intimidating. If this was in WWE, this match would not do any type of buys, and no one would watch it. But that's basically what we got from the presser. It's really enjoyable. You guys should check that out. Now, Lewis, the last time we had you on this show, this was a UFC 197 card. Dos Anjos was facing Conor. What are your thoughts with everything that's happened since then?
Come on, man.
Yeah, I'm throwing you right under there.
I don't know. The conspiracy theorists came out with the fake foot injury, but the pictures show his foot was fucked up. Dos Anjos, I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I've seen the post myself, definitely.
And then they went to people, and Aldo didn't accept it. Frankie was hurt, so Nate jumped in.
And who do you got in this fight now?
I'm going Nate.
You're going with 209 on this one.
Yeah.
All right.
And because the Conor fans are dicks.
Hey, hang on now. My wife's a Conor fan. I'm gonna have to leave you. Look, when I did the last show on this one, I said that this is still very much Conor's fight. Conor's still been in camp training, and while Nate, easily made the weight, it's probably close. 170 is probably closer to his walk around weight. And I know the Diaz's are badasses, but Conor's on a whole different planet right now. Not even so much in the octagon, but just everything outside of it as well. You can say the pressure's on him, but with this fight being at 170, I don't think that is that much pressure on him to necessarily win this fight. When you look at it stylistically, I think Nate does have an advantage on the ground. But, I mean,
the stand-up's going to be interesting.
The stand-up will be interesting, and I don't see Nate necessarily wanting to take it to the ground. I think he'll stand with Conor. So we'll see. I almost kind of think if it ends up being a stand-up, is if Nate can kind of put something on Conor to surprise him, kind of hurt him a little bit, and that might dictate the fight.
I don't think Conor's ever had anyone who, does what Nate does, what the Diaz brothers do, the talking and trash. all that stuff, taunting.
Yeah, and it was really interesting. The first press conference where they're right outside the cage. You get a chance to check that one out.
I did.
Okay, when that was going on, I mean, I love that presser a lot. Just funny stuff back and forth. But I thought kind of initially once I watched it, I thought both guys kind of held up. But going back and rewatching, I thought Conor very much got the better of him during that presser.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I'll just say what you said.
And then they do the other presser now, and there's Holm and Miesha Tate, who I might as well have really not even been there. I thought Nate then stood up better on his own, and then we get to the FS1 interview, which did you get a chance to watch that one?
Remind me on that.
It was the one where they were being interviewed by some guys for FS1. They had the split screen, and it was Nate.
Oh, the Gazelle interview?
The Gazelle interview, yes. Nate, what the fuck, dude? Nice.
I think he was just trying to, go at him a little bit. I don't think he was being serious.
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, the Diaz brothers, if nothing else, I mean, they know how to sell a fight, if nothing else. And what they're good at is basically telling you, I'm here to fight and beat somebody's ass. That's really all you need to say to really sell a fight. But the Diaz brothers almost do it better than anyone else.
Did you see the... Oh, you want to stay on this for a second?
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to ask if you've seen the CNBC interview.
I did not, but I've heard about that. Why don't you walk me through that one?
Well, there's some lady on there. I don't know who she is. I don't watch that channel. But she's talking to both of them. They're like side by side like they were.
Mm-hmm.
And she's asking all kinds of stuff about money, about what you want to do with your money and how much money you're going to make. And it's like every question is money, money, money. And Conor's making jokes and he's cracking jokes with her. And he misses a few questions. He doesn't answer some of her questions. And then at one point he just takes the mic off. He takes the mic off and walks away.
Like a boss.
And it's weird because Conor has this look. His eyes go real wide. He scratches his head. He looks over off camera and he starts, he just almost relaxes almost. It's this weird thing that you got to see.
All right, I have to check that out. Just your impressions on that. Is it not just so much on that, but just in general with Conor? How much of Conor's act in front of the camera do you think is just an act?
I think a lot of it's an act.
I think a lot of it's an act.
It's a gimmick.
And I have nothing wrong with it being a gimmick. I don't
either. I love Chael Sonnen.
Yeah, and Chael Sonnen I thought was great at it as well. Reason why I asked that is there was a lot of stuff that's come up in the last few days within these pressers about, like you said earlier, about conspiracies, about maybe people kind of knew this was going to happen and what direction they were going to go. Nate saying that every time that someone pulls out on Conor, he's getting phone calls. So I'm kind of wondering now if, from what you're telling me during that interview, if it's something where he just was legitimately surprised by what happened, or if there was supposed to be something else to come out during this interview and they never got to it.
It does seem like he was surprised when you watch it because it's such a weird reaction that you don't see from Conor. Oh. They just fucking took the mic off and walked away. She's like, okay, you're by yourself. He left, and Conor just looks off camera like he's looking at somebody.
Probably just going like, is somebody going to catch him? It's okay. All right, we're going to let this go. All right. So, did you get a chance to check out something that was kind of circling around here on the UG, and I saw it pop up on Twitter, about the disclosed fight pay for this card?
Conor getting $1 million?
$1 million straight up.
First ever.
Wow. No win bonus, just get $1 million for showing up and making weight. That is
fucking crazy shirt money.
It's more than crazy shirt money. That's that Rick Moranis money. So I mean, yeah, obviously, for the most part, we know that champions in the UFC get the $500,000 just flat fee. We see that in Holm's payment. She's getting $500,000 for this fight. We've seen it with Ronda before. What are your thoughts on Conor getting a flat, cool $1 million?
I mean, he's bringing in the viewers. He's bringing in the buys. So I guess it's appropriate.
It is, and everybody always screams about fighter pay, and you can look at the rest of this card here. Like, for example, Miesha's getting $46,000 to show, $46,000 to win, which to be in a poor Miesha, to be a co-main event of a card that, and I'll get to it later about what we think this card is going to sell. I mean, she'll make some more money here off the actual pay-per-view points here, but 46-46 for her. Nate was getting 20-20 before this. I can at least say when people complain about fighter pay, there's no one on this card making 8-8. Can we at least be happy about that?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Big card though. Big card money.
This is some serious money. Someone else is making a crap ton of money here, and I'll look it up while we bring up something else here. Someone else is making a ridiculous amount of money that I saw on this too, and I was very surprised at how much they were making.
Is it Diego? On the fucking Fight Pass?
Yeah, what's Diego making?
I have no idea, but he's on Fight Pass.
Well, and this is, a lot of people have been really pissed off about this, and I honestly don't understand. So, obviously you have WWE Network and you have UFC Fight Pass, and they've gone along how they're wanting to present, I guess you want to say original content or newer content on their different over-the-air subscription services here. And while WWE has gone all in and put their pay-per-views on there, they put live events and things like that, UFC has kind of basically stuck into Fight Pass, prelim fights, and every now and then giving us an actual card on Fight Pass. We just recently got Anderson Silva on Fight Pass. Did you get a chance to actually watch that on Fight Pass?
I don't have Fight Pass.
We're going to fix that once we get off the air here. But the reason I bring it up is because I was actually trying to watch a lot of that card on Fight Pass, and I think you remember when WWE Network launched in, I believe, was it Mania or the pay-per-view after Mania? Where was it Mania? That so many people had problems logging on and actually watching the pay-per-view. It was very similar in the Anderson Silva case. So for people who to complain about Anderson Silva fighting on Fight Pass or Diego and Jim Miller fighting on Fight Pass, if it's helping them get subscriptions, they're doing the right thing. And if more people subscribe, guess what? Maybe we'll start getting bigger and bigger cards on Fight Pass and off the pay-per-view model, which should make everybody happy.
What was the Anderson one? Was the big coup, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Yeah, that was the big thing they're gonna try to start with.
And
I mean, they have Invicta and Jungle Fight, but I think that Anderson Silva card was the first real big thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even before that, I think Dustin Poirier fought on Fight Pass, and Dana said it was the most watched event ever on Fight Pass. Like you said, Invicta's on there now. The Eddie Bravo Invitational is going to be...
Oh, yeah.
I think that's later this month. So, I mean, there is definitely a push for the Fight Pass brand, and I'm all for it. So, yeah, I would love... These guys, Jim Miller and Diego, deserve to be very much on the main card, even though they're both 1-3 in their last 4 fights. These guys are names that they definitely should be on the pay-per-view. But it's a fight I think fans would want to see, and if you can get, even just 500 more people to sign up for Fight Pass just because of the fight, go for it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I guess it's...
So, the big talk has been about Conor and Nate lately, and originally when this card was first announced with Conor and Holly Conor and Holly both being on this card initially, to me the bigger story was Holly Holm. And Holly, first fight post-Ronda, Holly fighting Miesha Tate. Miesha Tate finally is done crying about getting a championship fight, and she's finally getting one. And Conor completely has stolen the thunder for me for this co-main event. Now, I'm still going to watch the co-main event. I'm still intrigued by Holly versus Miesha. But let me ask you, is it just me, or has this fight importance seemed to diminish over the last couple of weeks?
It's been overshadowed pretty significantly.
I don't think anybody can dispute that at all. I cannot remember on our show which prediction. I think I predicted Miesha to win that fight, correct?
I think I went Miesha.
You went Miesha? Over the last few weeks, I flip-flopped back and forth between the two. I think today, sitting right here, actually, while we're doing this podcast, doing a DraftKings lineup, I am going with Miesha. And I'm sorry, I'm going with Holly, and I'll tell you why. During these press conferences, whenever you got anything out of either Holly or Miesha, or even in the Embedded series, a lot of people are bringing up that Miesha is so well-rounded, and it makes it a tougher matchup than it was for Ronda. And Miesha is good on the feet. Miesha's a great wrestler. Miesha's tough. Miesha's this. The thing that people don't really understand about Ronda is, no, she wasn't the best on the feet. We didn't know about how her chin was, but she was excellent at creating pressure, closing the distance, and getting the fight to the ground and setting up submissions. She was excellent at that, better than anyone else. And you can look at anywhere else around sports, whether it be Steph Curry in basketball or Barry Bonds in baseball, kind of to go in the older time there. If you're really excellent and better than anyone else at one thing, you can be amazing. And you can win a lot of fights. And when something comes in that way and kind of negates that, that's just good game planning. So when it came down to me with Holly and Ronda, Holly had the perfect game plan to beat Ronda, and that's fine. But making the excuse that now Miesha's more well-rounded, Miesha's not excellent at anything.
No.
So to me, that pretty much sets this up for, I can actually see Holly winning this fight within the first 2 rounds and finishing the fight. Come on now. Come on. I can smell you coming over to Holly's side here.
Miesha has this weird way of just winning, of getting just beat up and then winning. And I think it was Miesha said she questioned Holly's chin. Holly did get rocked by Ronda in that fight.
She did.
And I think if Miesha can land something like she did on Jessica I wanted to say, I said Separate Man last time, Jessica I think maybe she could win.
Huh.
We'll have a submission, maybe TKO.
There's always a chance, I mean, with any fighter, of you getting caught with the right shot and it putting you down. There's always that chance. Holly's footwork to me is so great. And even the shot that Ronda's got heavy ass hands, and people don't want to give her credit for that. Ronda's got power in her punches. So yeah, Holly got caught. She went down. I don't honestly think, well, we'll have to see. I hate to say this, but I think we'll have to see. So
you know what's weird?
Go ahead.
What's Holly's big weapon, the thing she's known for?
Those kicks.
The head kick, right?
Yeah.
Miesha Tate, early in her career, was knocked out by a brutal head kick.
Oh my! Look, for those who have not seen it, yes, Miesha was head kicked to death by Caitlin Young. What's Caitlin Young, I believe, right?
Caitlin Young.
Go YouTube that right now. Go Google it right now. It was. I hate to say a woman getting knocked out was glorious, but this one was glorious. And
her ponytail whips around.
And completely flops out, just out on her back. So, yeah, there's always that threat as well. So, to me, it becomes not so much if Miesha can get the fight to the ground. I actually think Miesha, in that sense, does have an advantage over Ronda, because Miesha is coming at her with a wrestling takedown effect. It's more,
shoot.
Yeah, there's more shooting involved in that. So she has a better chance of taking Holly to the ground than Ronda did. But I do think Holly's preparing for that. I think she's got the best camp. I don't care what you think. Braxton Winklejohn's probably the best camp in MMA. I think she's prepared for that and will probably keep the fight standing. So we'll have to see.
It's going to be interesting.
Now, I want to talk about my boy Tom Lawlor.
Tom McLawler.
Tom, you beat me to it. For those who did not see the weigh-ins, Tom Lawlor is, can we call him the GOAT of weigh-ins?
Definitely.
From the different costumes, the different ideas.
He was Dan Severn, Just Bleed guy.
Just Bleed guy was probably my favorite.
Anyone know Just Bleed? Back in the maybe mid-2000s, they used to have these crazy shots of the fans who were obviously drunk. And there was this guy, he had Just Bleed painted on his chest, the words Just Bleed. And he's doing this weird flex and his veins are popping out. Tom Lawlor cosplayed as that guy at a weigh-in.
It was glorious. So we have the weigh-ins yesterday, and I've been kind of paying attention to Tom lately when he's posting pictures of himself or the interviews he's been doing with Miesha here lately. And I thought that his hair looked very much like Conor's hair going into the Dustin Poirier fight. And I think somebody even on Twitter had mentioned, hey, dude, why do you look so much like Conor nowadays? And sure as shit, Tom comes out. He's got the hair all braided up like Conor did in the fight. He turns his back to us, the audience. And Joe Rogan's looking dead at him. He's had some words with Joe. He goes to lift up his shirt, and Joe loses it. Just immediately starts laughing. Tom turned around to reveal, I guess you could just call it a sticker. It looks like he had this giant sticker on his chest, much like Conor's chest tattoo. Gets up on the scale, throws the whole, it was glorious. Glorious. And Brunson weighs in. They do the face-off. Tom does the Conor pose, the whole nine. That's dedication, folks. And we need to have people dedicated to not only entertaining the fans, but committing to a gimmick. And for that, Tom Lawlor wins all the things yesterday. All of them.
One of the things that sucks about the Reebok deal is that they wouldn't let him walk out with some outfit that he wanted to do one day or one fight.
Yeah, it was his fight with John Vellante. He said he had an idea in mind, but with the Reebok deal, everything you have to wear Reebok, no matter what, it's Reebok or die. God damn it! And so that kind of killed his last one. I think the last one, Tom put on like every inch of or every piece of Reebok clothing he could to get to the weight. So he tried to make the best of it. I thought this one was great.
This one made up for it.
Oh yeah, definitely. And Conor, it's only embedded series episode that's on Fight Pass now. I think it's on YouTube as well. They show Conor's reaction to it. Conor loves it. Just bravo.
What episode was that?
I think that would be episode 4, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, because that would be the weigh-in edition. So I believe it's episode 4. Check that out on YouTube or check that out on Fight Pass. Bravo, Tom Lawlor. Bravo. As far as his fight goes, you know what? I'm not gonna lie here. I've listened to Tom on the Brian Alvarez show every Monday. He recently just did a review of NXT, which I have not done in a couple weeks here, so I need to get on that. I'm gonna go with Tom Lawlor. I don't care who he's fighting. That's just my pick. If you want analysis on why I think he'll get it done, it's because he told me he's gonna do it.
Well, I think Tom Lawlor's gonna win because he beat John Vellante, and John Vellante beat Derek Anderson or Corey Anderson. Fucking MMA math. That doesn't work. I just want to point that out.
Well,
dumbass fans who think MMA math works.
Well, here's something about MMA math that you just brought that up. Tom Lawlor is actually lower. His fight's lower on the card than John Vellante's fight, which is like mind-numbingly weird to me. Is it just me? Am I the only one that noticed that?
Let's see.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, he's the fourth fight.
Fourth fight. He's beat John Vellante. And finishes him. And he's lower on the. Okay, I'm just gonna.
That's weird.
I won't say anything. I'll move on. Another interesting fight on this card is we have Amanda Nunes versus Valentina Shevchenko. Did I get that right? I've been practicing
Shevchenko.
I've been practicing that for like an hour. Like literally in the mirror just saying it, Shevchenko, all over. Getting back to the fight in the weigh-ins.
She's actually attractive.
I wasn't going to say much about the weigh-ins except for holy shit, Valentina.
She's a little bit easy on the eyes there.
Yeah, we have a possible what?
Speechless.
Anyway, so this fight's interesting. Valentina obviously is coming off a win against Sarah Kaufman, who, look, I said poor Miesha earlier about her pay. Poor Sarah Kaufman. It's almost like she hit her peak in MMA like a year or two way too soon, and she's being left behind in the dust. So Valentina comes off that win. She's facing number 4, Amanda Nunes, who a lot of people are saying is in line maybe for the next title shot.
She's being hyped up big time.
She's starting to be. This is a big fight, and everyone knows, Amanda from the fight with Kat Zingano and who's Amanda's last fight? I'm trying to think what her last fight was.
Sarah McMahon.
Yeah, from those two fights, Amanda comes out the gate quickly. She's ferocious, and she can finish girls.
Definitely.
However, I really do like Valentina in this fight. I think her stand up is incredible. I think her ground game, while isn't necessarily the greatest, I think she can do enough to keep it off the ground. And I mean, this girl's got a background. She's been in the fight game for a while. I'm actually going with the, I guess you would call the upset with Valentina. Although people who are in the now, if you look across different platforms and predictions, it's not that far off that people are picking Valentina to win this fight.
How many wins does she have against Joanna, the champion?
I think it was 3.
That's crazy.
I think 3 and 3. When we're talking wins, we were talking Muay Thai here. 3 wins in Muay Thai. Yeah, so her stand up game's on point. And like I said, there are people out here picking Valentina to win. She is on my DraftKings lineup, and I will get to who all's on my DraftKings lineup here in a moment. What are your thoughts on this fight?
I'm gonna go with Valentina, and it's not because I think she's pretty, but I think it's gonna be a standing thing because Amanda is good on the ground, but she does like to test herself with strikers, and I think Valentina's gonna take a decision. I want to see a knockout.
I think if you're gonna see a knockout, I think you're gonna see it from Nunes, and it's gonna be in the first round.
No way, just bleed.
I mean, because we've seen it before. I mean, Kat went through one of the most insane beatdowns I've ever seen in women's MMA in that first round with Amanda, and Amanda's gas take almost after that first round was completely gone. So I mean, I think if you're gonna see a finish, if you're gonna see just insane beatdown, it's gonna be by Amanda in the first round. That's her best shot to win this one. Let's see. I think I've gone over all the major fights. Is there anything else on the undercard that stands out to you?
Eric Silva's not on steroids anymore. Wait, what?
What? Huh? Did you just say that on my show?
No, that's not even a fact. That's not. I didn't say anything.
I didn't think you did. I'll see if we can cut that. So yeah, Eric.
His body changed big time.
Dude, yeah. I'm trying not to say too much, but yeah, there is a major. We've been seeing that really over the last maybe 3 or 4 months. People's bodies changing. This one was a little bit more than most.
I mean, there are before and after pictures, but that's crazy.
Speaking of before, I don't want to get off of this here, but speaking of before and after pics, have you seen? There's a pic floating around of showing Conor at his fight against Jose Aldo, his weigh-in for that fight, and his weigh-in for this fight with Nate, the 145 versus 168 difference. Have you seen that?
I haven't, but I can imagine. He was always skeletoned out when he was at 145.
I'll send that to you. That's almost freakishly scary. What the difference in what it be 25-ish pounds does to his frame. Holy shit. But yeah, so we have Eric Silva, different body type here.
It's the weight training.
Yeah, you know what? It's the lighting. It's completely 100% the lighting. I always pick Eric Silva in his fights. Just he does seem to find a way to get the wins in his fights. I'm not 100% confident on this pick, but I will take Eric on this fight.
Why is Thatch and Bahar Zada being kind of like a loser leaves type thing?
I don't know. Brandon Thatch, I like him a lot actually. I think he's actually a bigger fighter for the 170-pound division.
He's massive.
He's really big, and that fight he had with Vincent Henderson. I mean, props to Bendo for pulling that fight out, but that was winning that fight until he wasn't winning that fight.
That logic.
Yeah, I mean it's true. I hate that expression. I hear people say it all the time, but it completely applies to that fight. He was winning that fight, and then he wasn't, and then lost.
Was that a short notice fight?
I think it may have been. Here, I think
both of those losses were short notice fights. The one to Benson and the other one to Gunner.
I definitely know the Gunner one was short notice. Here, I'm pulling up Brandon Thatcher now.
Let's see. Yeah, Benson Henderson. He took him far enough and then kind of wore him out.
Yeah, and it was just that's basically what it was. It was, Bendo gutting it out and eventually getting the submission.
And before that, all of Thatch's wins were in the first round. I think all of them were. I might be wrong with that. Don't quote me.
You were completely not wrong. I'm looking at it 1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1. His losses. Look at this. Look, if this fight does not end in the first round, Thatcher's lost in the fourth round to Benson Henderson, back at the fight night back in February, and then his last loss before that was against someone without a Wikipedia page in 2008 in a third round by decision. Every other fucking fight is in the first round. Every other one.
Hold on. I just want to touch on this non-UFC. I want to touch on this real quick.
Sure.
Okay, I just checked. Get Justin Gaethje a Wikipedia page. Damn.
What? The whole criteria of having a Wikipedia page to me is one of the crazier ones anyway.
He's one of the most exciting fighters, the champion in another organization. He doesn't have a Wikipedia page. I don't get it.
I remember hearing the MMA Roasted podcast with Adam Hunter, which, I mean, if you recognize the name Adam Hunter, he was on Last Comic Standing. He's on Jay Leno a couple of times. He has the MMA Roasted podcast. He's one of the hardest working comedians out there. Adam fucking Hunter doesn't have a Wikipedia page. And he was kind of explaining on his show that he's listing all these accomplishments and he goes to like submit it to get a Wikipedia page, and he got an email or something back saying how do we verify all the stuff that you're telling us? Like, what the fuck? Like, what do you have to do to get a Wikipedia page?
Jesus. All right, that was my little small tiny rant.
Not a problem at all. And speaking of which, I want to get off of UFC real quick because we haven't discussed it. Have you finally got a chance to see Dada and Kimbo?
Yeah.
I've already made my rant. What do you have to say about that fight?
It happened.
Now, another reason I brought this up is because I don't remember how long ago that fight was. Maybe about 2 weeks at this point. Kimbo just got out of the hospital yesterday. So now that he's now that he's fine and gonna be fine, I can really talk about how fucking terrible that fight was.
Are you talking about Dada?
Yes, Dada.
Dada died.
What?
His heart stopped.
Dude, he just got out of the hospital yesterday.
Yeah, he died though.
Dude, do not tell me that.
He died for like a minute or something.
Oh, fuck me. I'm going to have to look this up and I might have to edit it off the show.
Oh my god.
Okay, he's good. He's good. He's good. Like, motherfucker, dude. Don't do shit like that. I'm like, oh shit, I got to go back and edit this whole fucking thing off. Still might edit it off, damn it.
His heart stopped. Like, either during the fight or at the hospital.
It was on, I believe it's en route to the hospital.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you scared me with it. I'm like, oh, motherfucker, I got to go through it.
It's like a great blooper.
Right. It'd have been in the uncensored version of this podcast show.
Oh, God.
But, look, I said it before. Watching this fight, I put so many people where I had them. I was in the hotel. I was telling everybody, hey, Kimbo's about to fight. He's about to fight this guy named Dada. They used to be cool. He's a street fighter. This fight ain't going longer than like a minute. It's going to be a knockout. It's going to be vicious. It's going to be awesome.
You were promoting.
I'm out there. Look, Strikeforce needs to, or not Strikeforce, fucking Bellator needs to pay me because I'm out there promoting the hell out of this fight. And I had at least 100 people in the lobby, in the atrium, all stoked to watch this fight. And going into the second round, not only were people leaving to go to their rooms and shooting me the stink eye, there was one person, I shit you not, I didn't know this until like a couple days ago. One person asked for their money back. They wanted their money back for their hotel stay because Dada and Kimbo was that fucking bad.
It was a travesty.
And
it was a Uh, I can't even think of anything to say.
Now, when I got serious about this on the last show, I said this does need to raise the awareness of fighters cutting weight improperly, and doctors doing physicals and checks. And I believe it was me and AJ were talking about dehydration tests and things like that. So I hope, as bad as this fight was and how glorious it is to watch in hindsight, just how bad it is, I hope this does spring for changes when it comes to weight cutting and hydration and things like that.
Well, yeah, with the guys who aren't really athletes, per se. Dada cut like 40 pounds the week of, or something, like 20 pounds. He was overweight.
Yeah.
And he's not even really a fighter. He's not like an athlete. He's not an athlete, but he's not like he's not a pro.
Yeah, he's just one of those guys that's in the backyard that's about that life.
About that life.
I mean, that's the truth of what it is. He's about now. Saying all this, if Dada knocked on my door right now, well, actually not. If he knocked on my door right now, I think I could take him. He's just coming to the hospital. But just on a normal, everyday circumstances, if Dada's walking up to me, I'm running the fuck the other way. Because
it's the haircut.
I'm afraid he'd have the sledgehammer. That's why.
Why did he have a sledgehammer?
Dude, I don't know why he had the sledgehammer. Maybe, you know what it was? Maybe they caught him, like maybe he was doing something around the house. And said, hey, you got 2 seconds to take a picture real quick? And he may have said, hey, let me just put the... No, keep it. That's gonna make ratings, baby. You hold on to that sledgehammer.
Bellator.
Yeah.
Did you see the Gracie Shamrock fight?
Yeah. I wrote a... And I'm going to plug myself here again. If you go to the commonmanpodcast.com. New site, by the way. I'm legit now. commonmanpodcast.com.
You can have a Wikipedia page now.
I should get a Wikipedia page now. I gotta see what I gotta do to do that. I bet you I get one before Adam Hunter gets one. But I wrote about it on a blog about how much the Gracie Shamrock rivalry has meant to MMA here in the United States, and for it to go down the way it did, as it did with controversy, and now Shamrock's contesting the low blow. I thought it sucks. The fight itself probably wasn't going to be great, but I feel really, really bad about how the fight ended. At the same time, me saying that, I don't need to see it again.
Right.
Let's just forget it happened. Can we go to Wikipedia and get that so that the fight never happened? What do we have to do that one?
Are we talking about the Dada Kimbo fight?
Let's just scratch that whole Bellator event. Let's just do that.
It was a good knockout. Derek Campos and
all right.
Melvin Gillard.
Yeah, with Tyson on commentary. Okay, we can keep that.
Oh, silly rabbit.
Which way did he go? But yeah, I thought it was. Obviously, there's been talk about the fact that Hoist went in there with no wraps under his gloves, which was weird to me that a commission let that happen.
He did that in his fight with Hughes. I think he doesn't like it, I guess.
It don't fucking matter. Okay, look, respect to the Gracie family, respect Hoist. It don't matter if you don't like it, dude. Rules are rules, bro. Rules are rules.
The Gracie family has pool.
I guess so. But so for those who didn't, if you haven't seen the fight at this point, not sure why you're listening to this show, but so the fight's going on. There's really not much happening at all. We eventually get into a clinch. Hoist lands a couple of knees to the sternum, and then one. When I originally saw, I thought the one before the one that was actually the low blow actually was a low blow, but apparently it wasn't on replay. And then Hoist lands another knee, and then there's an elbow to the head, and Shamrock is kind of clutching to himself. Hoist does the best and worst takedown of all time.
He sweeps his leg.
And then proceeds to later hammer fist, and ref stops it. Shamrock's yelling, "You did it on purpose."
Yeah, can we talk about that when you're done?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, Eddie Bravo brought this up, and it makes sense. Shamrock is from a pro wrestling background. He started out as a pro wrestler and he spent years in the WWE. Whenever he loses to something like that, he always makes his complaint. He makes it up like this big show out of a loss. He did it with Sakuraba and he did it with Gracie. It's so weird to see that when a guy does something like that.
It is. And like I said, initially when I saw it, I thought there was a low blow involved. The crowd obviously didn't see it, and the announcers are saying Ken is wrong on this. We go to the replay, and this is what sparked a lot of controversy is there is a knee that appears to be a low blow, but yeah. Shamrock doesn't sell it initially. The knee comes, and then there's the elbow, and then Shamrock goes to sell it.
Like a delayed reaction.
Yeah, almost like he got kicked, and then he went in slow motion, but everyone else is in regular motion. It was weird.
Maybe that happens when you get old.
Maybe the synapses weren't firing off or whatever. I don't know if I used the right word or not. I used to be really smart in high school. I think synapses is what I was going for, and just maybe they didn't register in his brain right away. But like I said, just how that fight was going, this fight wasn't going to be great. I wanted to see a conclusive finish for both of these guys because they both wanted a conclusion to know who was better. So in that regard, I really want to see them finally end this. I just don't want to see it, if that makes sense.
Right.
Maybe they need to they need to find a gym and go Rocky Apollo Creed at the end of Rocky 3 and just have at it, and then they can know who's the best and move on.
I'd be down.
Now I don't know who's gonna ring the bell. I would think Shamrock would ring the bell. But anyway, so like I said, talked about the press conference, talked about UFC 186. We've got picks. Anything else on your mind, Lewis? This is great radio, by the way.
No.
All right. On that note, any plugs you want to throw out there, like that you didn't get a chance to plug last time?
Nah.
All right, so we're gonna wrap it up from here today. I am watching these fights live. I'm gonna get Lewis all set up with Fight Pass, and I don't want to hear any more excuses about you missing big Fight Pass fights. We'll try to have you on again, probably post show. We'll talk about that, things like that. So Lewis, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go while I wrap up the show. Man, I'll holler at you, dog.
All right, man. It was fun.
Take care.
Oop.
So that was Lewis on the show here. So want to take the time to thank you all for listening. You can head on over. I said it earlier. Head on over to thecommonmanpodcast.com. You will find links to all our past shows there. Also find blog articles that I write personally, videos. I think I just put up the UFC 196 weigh-in videos. And I'll also put up the UFC press conference that we talked about at the beginning of the show. That will be on there as well. So you can find the show on iTunes, SoundCloud. There's a YouTube channel. The links are all on the website. You can also head over to the Common Man Podcast on Facebook, and from there you can, follow us there. There'll be little things that I add on the Facebook page that are not on the website. Also, you can purchase merchandise for this show. Help support the show. Buy a T-shirt. If you got an iPad, buy an iPad case. Buy a hoodie. They're really cool hoodies. I just got one myself. Really love hoodies. Buy it there. Also, at any time, you can follow me on Twitter, where tonight I'm actually going to be live tweeting the fight at Common Man Pod. At Common Man Pod. Follow me on Twitter. Do all the things. It's been a blast today. Look, I am so excited for this pay-per-view. Guys, I hope you are too. Have fun tonight. Be safe. Peace and chicken grease.